With the announcement of Slayer as the last character in Guilty Gear Strive Season 3 and Season 4 just around the corner, a lot of new players are going to try and get into Guilty Gear Strive. This isn't entirely new. A lot of people have tried Strive over the years and they've either stuck with it or they've bounced off. And there's a non-zero chance that you watching this video right now are someone who's wanted to play Strive or has played Strive in the past and have found yourself bouncing off the game for various reasons. But don't worry, today I decided that I'm going to help you and bless you with some knowledge that helped me get good at this game. So, here's 5 tips to help you get good at Guilty Gear Strive. But first we're gonna have to pause a little bit because I've got a raid. A Raid Shadow Legend! Raid is currently celebrating the arrival of spring, giving you the opportunity to win real-life prizes, such as a gaming console or Amazon gift cards worth up to $10,000. That's a lot of unspecified Amazon product. The Spring Hunt minigame lasts until May 30th. To participate, simply download Raid using the QR code in the top left corner, head to their website and enter your Raid ID to start searching for missing items. Raid is one of the most successful mobile games in history, with 250 million downloads and over 800 champions for you to collect. One of them's even a dog. Look at this little guy. There is a noticeable lack of cat boys though, and that offends me. If you'd like to join the movement for more diverse characters, make sure to join the clan of Catboy Trust. If you join now, not only can you join this amazing clan, but you'll get access to a free legendary and 2 strong epic heroes, along with a chance to win a gaming console and Amazon gift cards. When you download using my link, you'll get access to a huge starter pack that includes the epic champion Tayrol from the High Elves faction. Once you get to level 25, you'll also get an epic Rector Draft. And if you use the promo code SPRINGHUNT24, you'll get silver and a bunch of other goodies. But act fast. The event ends at the end of May. So go and download Raid Shadow Legends using my link in the description or the QR code on the screen right now. The first tip is that you should learn your character's main gimmicks. Guilty Gear is a franchise based off of high power level characters, and Guilty Gear Strive is no exception with this. Every character in the cast, even the really simple ones and the ones that are considered bad, have very strong game plans that can absolutely demolish opponents if they are left unaware. If you want to get good at these games, you should figure out what your character's strongest buttons are and what their general game plan looks like. You can do this multiple different ways. However, the main ones that I would recommend is going to Dustloop, as it is a great resource in order to help you learn your characters, or by watching high-level play of your character in multiple different matches. It's also important that you learn your character's general defensive techniques. Defense is a side of every fighting game that seems to be underlooked by a lot of players, and having even decent defense will get you a long way in any fighting game. My general recommendation is to look for your character's fastest mash button. This is generally 3 or 4 frames. However, depending on the character, it may be as slow as 5 frames. Once you know what that button is, you can begin testing it out in different scenarios. Some characters are able to use these buttons to mash out of frame traps, some characters aren't, but all characters can basically use it to mash out of stagger pressure, which is pressure where your opponent begins to attack you and then leaves a pause so that they can reset their pressure. Learning as much about your character will give you an edge over your opponents. You can even begin knowledge checking them if you find silly different things that you're able to use. Any setups, any defensive techniques, any offensive techniques, any general game plans are going to help you out in the long run. Here's a tip though. If you hear someone complain about something about your character, it's probably something that's really strong. If you hear a lot of people complain about something to do with your character, then it's definitely something strong. If people complain about things with your character, you should probably begin using them more. Unless it's something kind of silly. Tip 2. Learn your opponent's gimmicks. Like I said before, every character in this game is a high power level character, meaning that every character has some bullshit that players are going to abuse constantly. Learning what your opponent wants to do and how they're going to go about it will give you a massive edge over them. This can be something as simple as learning what their general game plan is so you're able to avoid it as much as possible, to learning specific setups that your opponent's going to do in order to try and lab against them. I would say though that knowing what your opponent wants to do in a matchup is going to help you out drastically, and you can adjust your game plan in order to play avoidance for the opponents. This may not exactly work with every character matchup and can lead to some annoying situations, but knowing how to beat your opponent's character's game plan generally helps you beat your opponents much much quicker. This is something that you may need to learn with trial and error though, so please be patient with it. Tip number 3, burst management. Burst is your most valuable resource in this game, as it is your primary way of breaking combos. Generally, only character-specific tech can break combos without burst. I'm looking at you, Mini Faust. So for most characters, you're gonna have to burst if you want to get out of a sticky situation. This means that you need to be very aware of your burst, and alternatively, be very aware of your opponent's burst. A lot of players like to use their burst very early in a round, so that they can maybe get 2 bursts in a round, depending if they get positive bonus or not. This isn't inherently a bad idea, especially with the positive bonus changes in Season 3, allowing you to generate more burst when you break the wall. However, there is one thing that you do not want to be with your burst, and that's predictable. If you burst at the same point of every match, your opponent's generally gonna end up catching on. And when your opponent catches on, you're gonna get your burst baited. Baiting burst is one of the best things that players can do on offense, as it removes the opponent's biggest defensive option. Generally though, there are a lot of ways in order to avoid getting your burst baited. If you see the opponent uses their close slash or their 5k, do not burst. These are the universal jump cancelable moves in Strive, and the easiest way that players have found to bait burst in this game is to jump cancel a move and block it in the air. Continuing with this, if your opponent has 50 meter and they just use a move that you can still burst, hold it so they don't bait your burst with meter. Using Roman Cancel to bait a burst is something that has become ever more popular in Guilty Gear Strive, as it is generally a very good trade for the person baiting the burst. This means that at higher levels, you're going to have to not only pay attention to what moves your opponent is doing, but also their tension gauge, because you don't want to be left high and dry because you didn't realize that your opponent had 50 meter and decided to Roman Cancel the moment you press burst. This can work both ways though. A lot of players in this game try to hard bait burst, meaning that at every opportunity, they will go for a burst bait. If they do this and they fail, they just get left with literally nothing, meaning that you can basically force your opponent to drop their combos by holding your burst. Bursting is a constant mind game that you and your opponent play together, so make sure that you manage your burst correctly. Number 4, use your meter effectively. This sounds obvious, but it's something that some people need to hear. Roman Cancel is stupidly useful in Guilty Gear Strive, so you gotta make sure that you're using it when you have the chance. You cap your meter out at 100 meter, which only gives you 2 uses of any Roman Cancel, or 2 uses of Super. 100 meter combos are pretty cool and pretty stylish, but generally you don't want to have that meter capped out for long. If you get positive bonus and you have 100 meter and full burst, you basically don't got positive bonus at all. Using Roman Cancel in basically any situation is generally better than just holding it for nothing. Even after a wall break, using blue Roman Cancel to see what your opponent's doing and slow them down generally leaves you in a very advantageous state. So use your meter when you have it. You don't want to lose around with meter because then you just feel like crap. I should also point out that faultless defense is a very good option in this game, especially in the corner. It doesn't look like it pushes you back a lot, but against some characters, it can completely save you from certain setups and requires them to readjust their game plan or use harder techniques in order to keep you trapped in that corner. Trust me, sometimes it's better to just FD some pressure out and get your opponent away from you. And lastly, number 5. Just be patient. Strive seems like a really fast game when you don't know what's going on, but I promise you it's not. It's a punishing game, but if you watch high level play, they tend to play more reserved than the people in Tower do. This is because when you get caught out in Strive, it fucking hurts. And you really don't want to be in that position. So doing risky plays and dumb setups isn't gonna get you very far. Sitting back and playing at a slower pace is gonna allow you to make less mistakes and get punished less. If you want to deal big damage in this game, the best way to do it is to let the opponent give you that damage. If you're both playing recklessly and stupid, you're both just gonna keep running into each other. But if one of you's playing calm and collected, the one who's playing like a reckless idiot is gonna get punished for it. So you want to be the calm and collected guy. So many people will just give you free counter hit combos by doing the stupidest thing you've ever seen or leaving themselves negative on block. So you've just gotta let them do it. So slow down, and take a deep breath. Watch what your opponent's doing, know your character's gimmicks, make sure you're managing that burst and that meter, and be patient. Trust me, you follow all of these, and you'll be good at this game before you know it. Thank you once again to Raid for the sponsorship. Make sure to go participate in the Spring Hunt event using my link in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if this was a rush job. It was a awkward time for me, to say the least. I hope you all enjoyed, though, and I hope to see you all next week for a very special character video. As always, a very special thanks to 64MHz, Almost Nap Time, Cervantes de Leon, Cora HRT, Daniel Wiedericht, Edison Lottery, Fexo, Games.png, I am Naoto, It's Riley, Knife and Spoon, Criticat, MP04, Mr. Clen, Nubus, Ray W, Sergeant Cubby, Super, Falcon, Tom Tanks, Velvet Puppy, and Zandatsu for being Tier 2 Patron supporters. Can you believe I made this video in 4 hours?